Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Today is still Thursday, October 16th, 2025, back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in, I really appreciate it. And as we all know, the job market in America is in the tank. There's people that are out of work, that have been out of work for a good little while now, and they're looking for work and can't find work. And whether our government or whoever want to admit it or not, we're in a recession. And more so, I think we're heading toward a depression. On purpose, as I always say. So we're in some tough time financially, especially when it comes to the job market. And as we go further into the future, it's going to get harder and harder for average, everyday people like us to get a job for one reason or another. Or if we get a job, most likely it ain't going to pay enough to survive off of. So we're going to have to work 2 and 3 jobs, 4 jobs, even more, making it less jobs available. Because you got one person working 3 jobs. So as we go further, you think it's hard now to get a job, and you complain about the wages now. Just imagine how much worse it's going to get. As more and more people have to, not won't. They don't want to work 3 jobs. They have to. And as we advance in technology, it's supposed to be something that's going to help us make life better. But in reality, it's going to make it worse. Because now, not only are we losing jobs from moving overseas for cheap labor, or allowing illegals to flood in for cheap labor, or now we have AI and the robonoid, whatever you call it, the robots and humanoids and clones and all type of demonic things they're doing that's destroying us as mankind, and they don't even care. Everything they're doing right now is destroying us as a civilization. We will not survive. That's why I say our world is coming to an end. Not the world, but our world. We ain't gonna survive like this. So a change has to and will come. Nothing stays the same. So as you're out here studying, you're in college right now, or whatever, you're going for a trade, and you're trying to find a job or career or something, a trade that you think is recession-proof, where you're going to have job security. I hate to tell you, there's no such thing. In the future, the only ones that's going to have security are the people that own the company, the corporate people, the owners. Us, there will be no job security. Might be a point where there's no job for humans. We're heading to a point to where if the big timers have their way, there will be no more need for human workers. All of us will be unemployed, which is what they want, and then all of us will have to depend on the system. All of us will be on welfare and stamps and Section 8 or whatever, government. I know that sounds crazy. You've heard me say it 1,000 times, you will own nothing and be happy about it. Imagine a world where owning stuff is so stressful, it's so expensive, it's killing you and making you sick, to where you're happier just not owning it. say it again. The saying is, you will own nothing and be happy about it. How do they plan on doing that? How do they plan on having people in a position to where they don't own anything and they're happy? Hey, I don't want that. That's how I am now. I don't want no. I wanted the Mercedes and I wanted the Lamborghini. I wanted this. I wanted the big fine home. I'm at a point now when I see how much that shit costs and what it's gonna take to maintain it and how bad it work and the stress that I would be under if I had all that stuff right now. I decided I don't want it no more. I don't own nothing, and I'm happy about it right now. I don't have no big 10-bedroom home like I wanted, with an amusement park in the back like Neverland or some bullshit with Michael Jackson. Oh, I used to dream like that. But now, as I see as the world turns, I'm like, man, I don't want all that shit. Unless I'm able to, I got enough money where I can just pay cash for everything. I'm just a gazillionaire. But other than that, talking about the old school way, the way we used to do stuff, get you a decent paying job, manage your money right, get your credit good, and go finance you a home, finance you a nice car, vacations, a few credit cards. I don't want none of that shit no more. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to get you to where you will own nothing and be happy about it. Because owning something will be so stressful, so painful, cause so much anxiety to own it, to where you ain't going to want it. And you're going to be happy without that shit. You're going to be looking at other people that's owning stuff. And they stressing and they dying young and they passing out and they can't eat, can't sleep, just geek. When you see people that own stuff living like that, you're going to be like, I don't want to own. No. I'm happy without owning. That's what we had. So they creating a society that don't want to own nothing, and they creating a society that won't be able to work nowhere. And they'll be at the full mercy of the ruling powers. Because you ain't going to be able to work for yourself. You ain't going to be able to get a job. And you still got to eat. Everybody ain't willing to go live off the land. So, when they tell you to take the chip, you're going to take it. And everything else they tell you to do, you're going to take it. Because you ain't going to be able to get a job. They're going to always need workers to do something. What about a job like a cop? It's going to always be work for, say, you just got to name a job that you think are safe. Nurses, doctors, firefighters, cops, or whatever. And you think those jobs are safe no matter what. AI and whatever, they can't affect that. AI won't be able to affect a firefighter. It won't be able to take a cop's job. So you got to find, this y'all suggestion. This what some of y'all would tell me. Big boy, you got to find a job that AI and whatever they can't take. You got to get the skills up. You got to go relearn something. You got to go back to school and get jobs that are going to be compatible with AI and whatever. That'll be able to withstand AI. And I'm here to tell you, ain't none. Unless you're the owner. It ain't gonna be no more jobs. All the common folk like us will be at the mercy and depending on them. One big old group of Democrat type policy where the people depend on the government for help to survive. Can't make it without them. And once you like that, you easy to control, right? Because the people that got your food, that you depend on to live, you tend to submit to them people because you want to survive. Human nature. So when you tell me jobs like, say, cops and other careers you might name that you would think will be safe in the near future from AI, automation, humanoids, robots. I forgot the new robot that folks told me to look up. Some type of robot. They already out right now. Just like the iRobot movie with Will Smith. They out right now. For sale. So if you think being a cop and careers like that and whatever, check this out. Hold on, y'all.
In Miami, police say this is the future of law enforcement.
This vehicle is going to give us touch points with the community that we have never had before.
If you look past the flashing lights and logos, it's clear this is no ordinary police cruiser. This prototype SUV was designed to launch a drone, read license plates, and send live infrared video back to HQ, all without needing a police officer behind the wheel. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office says this is the nation's first autonomous police vehicle. The South Florida Department is rolling out the experimental vehicle thanks to funding from the policing lab.
What we're ultimately trying to do is to give the sworn officers the capability to make the best decision out there.
For now, Miami-Dade will essentially take the vehicle on a PR junket, seeking community input before it regularly patrols neighborhoods. If and when that day arrives, designers say this vehicle will offer a lot.
They don't need to be focused on driving and looking for animals, children, pedestrians running out into the road. The vehicle's going to watch those vulnerable road users and let the officer look for crime.
The easy-to-operate tethered drone gives police a bird's-eye, up-close view, even in the shadows. The car can also patrol targeted areas, deterring bad actors without Sheriff Rosie Cordero Stutz needing to send actual deputies.
I would probably say that this vehicle will allow 5 to 10 deputies to go about other business that they might otherwise not be able to do.
The policing lab says the car can also help streamline arrests,
Fingerprint, 10 digits.
and relay real-time data.
Bus collision, an active shoot, you position this vehicle, and this information can be fed directly back to a command center for decision making.
The autonomous vehicle industry has faced questions about safety for years. Designers say this new law enforcement model would not engage in a high-speed chase without a deputy driving.
This will never go lights and siren, exempt from the rules of the road, autonomously.
Technology like 360-degree cameras also raises privacy concerns. Civil society groups like the ACLU have long been suspicious of police using surveillance tech such as drones. Miami-Dade Sheriff says her department is using technology that's everywhere.
We're all on camera all the time, everywhere we go. I think that what we're doing is embracing what's already part of our lives and using it in a way that helps to improve our community.
And we may not even be able to imagine some future triumphs and pitfalls on an uncharted road.
The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office says during the pilot program, this vehicle will be assigned to its Community Affairs Bureau. But the sheriff tells me if there's a crisis, they'll put this vehicle to work. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, Miami.
One step at a time. We there. Yep. That's where we are. Y'all remember that movie, RoboCop? He's next. They got semi-trucks right now that drive themselves. We just had to strike with the port workers last year because they want to replace them with machines that run the port without people. They wasn't just fighting for their salary or we want a raise. They wasn't fighting for no damn raise. They were fighting for what we all gonna have to fight for. Just to be able, the ability to be able to provide for yourself, to have a job, not to be replaced by a goddamn computer, a robot. Because the people at the top, it ain't gonna affect them. In any business, the biggest cost that they pay, the biggest overhead is labor costs. Cut that, you basically all profit. And that's all that matters to these people, no matter who it is. When you thought it couldn't get any worse, when you thought you done heard all the doom and gloom Big Ward can preach, and what I told y'all the other day, ain't no need for me to be in a hurry to make no video. I can chill, take a day off. The bad news ain't going nowhere. The content, the topics, I don't have to look, I have to. My biggest problem with a topic or content right now is trying to decide which one I want to cover. There's so many. Somebody made a comment, Big Wall, how do you keep coming up with all this content? It keeps slapping me in the face. The videos pretty much just make themselves. I just happen to be the handsome face that you're looking at, bringing it to you. RoboCop. I wonder would RoboCop be racist. I had to throw that in there. Will he be programmed to beat black folks? Is RoboCop gonna be a racist? Good question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let you get back to enjoying your day as much as possible while we sit here on this runaway train on our way over this cliff and we can't get off. You will own nothing and be happy about it. This how they doing it. Will any of us live to see that day? Who knows? Depends on how old you are. But it's coming. Will any of us live to see that day? Depends on how old you are. But that day coming. Well, they ain't gonna need no human work. You're gonna have the owners of the business and the robots, and maybe one person that oversees the programming for the robots. That's it. The rest of us, when you wonder, well, how are we supposed to live? We're going to depend on them. They're going to feed us. They might fly some drones over and drop food like they do over there in Gaza, just out of plane with parachutes. We out there just, who knows? Don't put nothing past them. Enjoy your day. Get it, got it good. Bye.